Welcome to the Tom Bernard Podcast and the Family with
co-host Catherine Brandt,
Andy Brandt Bernard,
and Kristen Burt,
who is not freezing.
I'm going to tell you, it's cold in LA. I did my morning walk at 6:30, and I had on a heavy sweatshirt and I put my hood up and like.
And what was the temperature?
Made it tight. Let me look. You're all going to laugh at me no matter what.
No, we understand.
Okay, it's 55 and cloudy right now, so it was probably about 52.
I would wear a sweatshirt.
Yeah, it was cold.
I think it's 55 where I am right now, and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, 55.
I got out of the car and I'm like, oh man, it's hot out.
Yeah, we watched the Twins game last night, and it was about 65 there last night, and everybody was in normal everyday clothes.
Yep.
They're in shorts. Yeah, when you live in warm temperatures, your blood thins, and then you realize that it's not that warm. I don't know if people know this, but in Southern California, we get May gray and June gloom, where the first part of the day is very cloudy, and so until the marine layer leaves, the sun doesn't come out.
Did not know that.
See, that makes total sense. All right, now I got to catch up with some stuff, and the one to count on to, because you're a commie, so you're the one to ask.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm glad I'm here.
What is dark woke? They're talking about dark woke. What is that?
Okay, I'm definitely not on dark woke algorithm. I know that for sure, because woke has been co-opted by political parties, which is bananas.
Yeah, right.
So,
well, it's
They've
about
been trying to do this for like 8 years. They had dark Brandon, they had dark MAGA, they had everything is dark now. Every political, it's an attempt to get like edgy teenagers into, a thing. So it's like
really?
dark MAGA and is it MAGA or MAGA? I
call it MAGA.
I don't know. Whatever it is, they were both the same thing. It was you take a picture of either Trump or Biden, like yelling, and then you Photoshop red eyes.
Yeah, red laser eyes. Yeah.
And then there you go. There's dark Brandon right there. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Do not want to be a part of any of it.
No, I don't blame you.
I skim my headlines and then go straight to cat videos. I can't do it.
When I was like a teenager, I can see getting into that kind of thing ironically, like as a joke. Like, when I was a teenager, I used to like make jokes about George Bush, like pro and con, just, whatever was funny at the time. And I think that's mostly what it was, because I don't think anyone is really, suggesting that Donald Trump or Joe Biden are like these powerful men who can, shoot lasers out of their eyes. They're old politicians. That's everyone knows it. But the dark woke thing is basically like, it's that, but they're trying to make it like cool to be woke, basically.
Oh, that's what it is. You get cool to be woke.
They do that every political cycle. They got to be cool with the kids to believe what I believe. It's dumb.
Well, there's all these political people on social media, and they love new memes, and they're always trying to come up with something. So I think that's where it all comes
as the kids would say.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was watching, I go from channel to channel, watch the news and all the rest of it, and dark woke kept coming up. And then dark woke became AOC. Apparently, she has something to do with dark woke. I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't believe anything out of anyone's mouth at this point.
Well,
so it's just, if you hear something, then you should go and search out those neutral resources to go and find just the facts, and then realize that there was a slant to whatever you were probably heard. So
I think dark woke would make a good Star Wars villain.
The reason that I bring it up is they're basically turning their back on Chuck Schumer, and that's where dark woke came up, because Chuck Schumer.
Oh, are they talking about David Hogg and his decision to primary some Democratic?
Probably.
I actually think that that's a great idea. I'll come right out and say it. I think that we need the Democratic Party's a mess. I don't think that is a controversial statement. And I think that they need to do something. They need to shake the party up. And if you primary some of your, like Nancy Pelosi's,
get rid of her already.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, that seems like a smart idea, and like shake things up. Maybe it'll wake some people up in that party.
I know not a lot of people love the idea of term limits in Congress because it just creates too much churn, but I think we can all agree that 30 years is probably a good run. Maybe get out. How long has she been in Congress?
Oh,
it has to be.
Nancy Pelosi? Well, she's been in and out of all kinds of different political.
I mean, I've been in California 25 years, and I feel like she's always been in power since I've been here.
Yeah.
Yes, she has.
House of Representatives from California. She assumed office in 1987.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Almost 40 years.
She was a primary big money finder for the Democratic Party.
Right.
Yes.
Before that, she was chair of the California Democratic Party. She's also been the Speaker of the House. Obviously, it's like
you make a lot of money if you follow her stock picks.
Right.
it's true.
Right.
If
Not
she'd
lying.
if she'd only share her stock picks.
Oh, well, there are apps that actually do that for you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
They'll
and I've
literally
made
just
money
buy
off
what
of
she
it.
buys. Yeah,
I've bought some of what she bought. Yep.
Oh,
And I mean, obviously, right now it's a little treacherous out there in the stock market, but in the good times, it's very easy to follow her stock picks.
well, this is actually a good time to buy stocks because they're low.
It was
They're
up
low.
today, wasn't it? I think the stock market was up the last I checked. Maybe it's dropped off, but it was on its way up again. I don't know.
Probably because I think the news was that Trump may be open to ending the trade war or with
Right.
China. There's
Right.
some buzz around that. So
it hit a low on Monday, but it's been going up the past 2 days.
Well, there
Yeah.
you go. That's
And
what I thought.
also, if he can put pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates,
Powell.
that's going to really make
That'll
the
shake-
stock market go higher.
Yeah.
It
Well,
will indeed. Nancy Pelosi's father was a mayor of what town? Was it somewhere in Rhode Island or something? Her father was a mayor, a big shot mayor out on the East Coast. I know that, but I can't
Thomas
remember.
Alessandro Jr.
Was that his name?
Yep, sure was.
And where was he mayor?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. That's exactly.
Baltimore, one of
That's
the most
exactly
Seymour.
important cities
Seymour.
outside of Minnesota.
Baltimore.
I mean, Minneapolis.
Well, a little corrupt, but other than that,
It's a great
they're all-
city, though.
I've been to Baltimore, but I've not spent a lot of time there.
I don't think, I haven't been in a long time. And I think that the Inner Harbor, which they rehabbed, I think now it's fallen into disrepair and it needs another resurgence. But when that was thriving, it was probably about 20 years since I've been. Amazing, really amazing city.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. There's no question about that. But yeah, I'm trying to catch up with everything what dark woke is and what this is. And
But,
what that.
I think we don't need to know what dark woke is.
I think
maybe
For
not.
some things you don't
I
need to
don't-
know.
You probably don't need to care.
Right.
I just, you look at the news right now has a really tough time, I think. Is there anything to deal with in the news? So you basically got to point to the other side, whether you're Fox or CNN or whatever, you point to the other side and see what's wrong over there because they don't have anything else to talk about. It sounds like.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff coming up. What's this Hilton guy that wants to be the mayor
Steve Hilton, yeah.
or governor of California? Is he the Hilton?
That Hilton?
Yeah.
There are
resort
so many
king?
people that are throwing their name in the hat
Yeah.
for governor right now. It's
Yep.
actually hard to keep up.
I'm just wondering if he's, super rich hotel money.
No, his parents are immigrants from Hungary.
Oh, Hungary. I thought it was Britain.
Well,
He's
they
got kind of a British
went
accent.
from Hungary to England,
Oh, there you go.
and then
There you go.
somehow ended up in here. Oh wait, no, he was born in England and he came here.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Oh,
Because he's got a British accent. I know that.
yeah.
Yeah,
He had a photo op today about his throwing his hat in the ring.
His real last name is Herksack.
Herksack.
Don't change it to Hilton. That is clever.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my last name to Marriott.
Hey, you be Marriott, I'll be Tommy Ramada. That sounds like that sounds like a gangster. So
Tommy
I know you're
Ramada,
Kristen
absolutely.
Bonvoy. Yeah, the Kristen
Yeah.
Bonvoy. I'm a Bonvoy
There you
member.
I
Yeah,
too.
They anglicized it from Herksack to Hilton. I don't know if that's really anglicizing. I think that's changing.
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
We found a Marriott Bonvoy hotel card and a valet receipt today on the sidewalk. I'm like, I better take this and throw this out so somebody doesn't,
Yeah.
go running in there and just find out which door it opens or steal their car.
Well,
yeah.
when they lose
Yeah.
cards, they usually deactivate them.
I know, but the guy might not have known. Who
That's
knows?
true.
Or
He might-
whoever dropped
might
it
still be
might not
staying
know
there.
for hours and hours.
Yeah, and
that's true.
hotel safety. I've traveled a lot as a female and alone, and you
Mhm.
really have to be smart about
Yes.
what you're doing
Oh, I
and
bet.
the deadbolt and not and making sure your room number is not announced at the front desk as you're checking in.
Yes.
You know, you're in room 1206. Thanks for letting the whole lobby know.
Yeah, we were walking down the road today with the dog, and there was this. I mean, he was a homeless guy, and there was a really pretty blonde, and she had all kinds of stuff in her hands, including a drink, like a coffee drink. And he started following. He was just leering at her, and then he started following her. So I kind of gave him the look, and he sat down for a few minutes.
He did.
Because I was going to go up and say something. Because I mean, I'm like, I'm not going to watch her be accosted. And there's like an alley right where they were walking, so it kind of scared me where they were.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
No, that makes total
watch
sense.
out for everybody.
Yeah, you have to be smart.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably take a break here because we got somebody coming in, and also it's time to take a break in any case. So we'll be right back. Kristen Burt, entertainment news. We'll find out what's going on in the world.
You have to hear about my night last night.
What's your night?
My night.
Oh,
party night.
She was at a rave.
All right, we will find out right after this on the Tom Bernard Show. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hand for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. When it comes to banking, it's all about trust. That's what you get with them, no question. They've been around since 1998, and they've always made it clear they're here to give you a better banking experience with a focus on the local community. And you won't be dealing with some AI chatbot either. You'll get straight answers and quick decisions from real people that know you and your situation and are always ready to help. So if you're tired of the big national banks and want something better, stop by and see my friends at North American Banking Company. Visit nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Have you ever seen a squawk stairs? Well, look at mine.
Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So what's the latest?
So last night I was at a party thrown by Hulu, and it was for all of their summer and early fall reality shows. But I got to hang out with an icon and a legacy known as Vanna White.
What?
Vanna White.
Right, you guys. Come on.
I
So-
feel like you and Vanna would get along really well.
We did. And you know what? We bonded. This is the thing. So it was so funny because there was a presentation of, all of the the shows and what's coming up. So after the formal presentation, it was at a mansion in Beverly Hills, this beautiful, stunning home that they use for events a lot. So I've been there before. And I was going up to my friend Simone, who works for Entertainment Tonight. And I didn't realize, so we were chatting and blah, blah, blah. And I turned to my left and I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Vanna White.
Is she in a reality show?
She was there to promote Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, which is a part of Hulu as well. Yeah. So, which, by the way, they have done such a great job in the transition between Pat Sajak into Ryan Seacrest. Ratings are up. It's kind of brought a renewed energy to the show, and they're doing a lot more with social media. And then Vanna White's been bringing her son around. Her son Nico has become like this internet heartthrob guy. But the show's done very, very well under Ryan Seacrest. So they've been really happy with in its 42nd season is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I interviewed her, but then afterwards we were chatting and I said, it's so funny to me that people talk about your wardrobe still in 2025. She has all these dresses and she wears a different one for every show. We wore the same dress about a week apart. And it came from the same PR company. She borrows them. I borrowed them. I wore it to the Oscars and she wore it on Wheel of Fortune. And she was like, which dress? I'm like, let me find it. And she's like, oh, I remember that dress. She probably didn't because she was worn 18,000 red dresses over 42 seasons. And she was just being sweet, but she is lovely, like the kindest, loveliest person and stunning. So beautiful.
I used to have her on the show once in a while when I was on KQ Morning Show. She would come on and she was all, Pat Sajak was very pleasant. She was very pleasant.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's very nice.
Yeah. And like, what a great team. And she said, I said, are you in this for the long haul? And she said, you know what, as long as I'm having fun, I'm staying in it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but just having that host switch and her deciding to stay instead of exiting with Pat Sajak, Sony probably wouldn't have been upset about. They probably been like, the heir apparent is Pat Sajak's daughter, Maggie Sajak. She does like social media correspondence for the show. And I think she'll take Vanna's spot if Vanna decides to leave. But Vanna decided to stay. And I think, honestly, it was the greatest thing because you have one foot in the old school Wheel of Fortune, one foot in new school. And it's a good transition so that when Vanna White's ready to leave, it's on her own terms.
How old is she anyway?
65, maybe?
Oh, okay.
She is 68.
68. Ooh.
Let me tell you.
Here we go.
She does not look anywhere near that. I mean, I would put her maybe in her late 50s.
Oh, well, maybe
she looks great.
Maybe she's had a little tuck.
I would say that there's probably been a neck lift.
Okay.
It's my guess.
If you're staring at it.
But I will say she is not, but she looks natural though, because she is not Botoxed. So she has wrinkles. So I think that there was a lift, but not full of fillers and Botox. She looks great. She looks beautiful, honestly.
I'm going to start a new trend when I'm old. It's a neck lowering.
Yeah, there you go.
It's as low as I can get.
There you go.
And then you can like do this.
I think that happens.
Also, the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian was there to promote the Kardashians.
Oh,
So they made a big deal about that.
Ever going away?
They're not.
Nope.
Because you know what? Hulu announced a new show that Khloe is producing about Calabasas and living behind the gates. So Hulu is completely invested in the Kardashian business. And let me tell you, I walked away with a ginormous gift bag that was all products from the Kardashians, not from any other show, all from the Kardashians. And this morning, I smell like Khloe Kardashian because she has a new perfume, and I sprayed it just to try it.
Good,
so, it's strong. So I sprayed it on both wrists, and I realized it just needs one spritz on a wrist and then like rub.
Okay.
I like a very soft scent if I do wear perfume, which is not often. So I feel like you can smell me a mile away right now. It smells good, but I feel like I'm entering the room.
Is perfume strength like a trend thing? Because when I was a kid, I remember perfume being very strong. Like if someone was wearing perfume, you could smell them a block away. And now I don't see that much anymore.
Well, getting the elevators in our building.
Sometimes
you get an elevator, you're just like, holy God.
Cologne, a musk, they all have different strengths.
Right.
Yeah. I just feel like the strong stuff isn't as popular as it was in like the 90s.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
No.
not for sure. I mean, I wear a lot less perfume than I used to. I used to wear it all the time, and now I'm like, meh.
I hardly ever wear it. You're a cologne guy though, Tom.
Yeah, I wear cologne every day, but I
Yeah.
don't spray a ton of it on me.
No.
I actually spray it on top of my breastbone is where I do it, so it's covered by a shirt anyway.
So if we hug you, you smell good.
Exactly. You
Yes,
have to
there you
get
go.
close to
That's exactly right.
get your Gucci.
News, Melissa and I saw a new movie for once.
Really?
We saw Sonic 3.
There you go.
Oh,
You don't have little children, do you?
We actually
I-
watched it with Ethan.
Yeah.
We watched it. We scoped it out because I talked about it on the chat with some people a while back, and they said that it's probably a little intense for a 3-year-old, and I
Oh.
would definitely agree.
So what, 5 and up, 7 and up?
I
do you
mean, honestly, probably closer to 7.
Okay.
It introduces this character called Shadow the Hedgehog, who is exactly as edgy as you would imagine, given his name is Shadow.
Right.
So the whole thing is about him being like angsty, and then
dark
tragedy.
hedgehog.
Exactly, dark hedgehog occurs, and then there's just a lot more fighting and stuff in this one. One
Oh.
doesn't really have barely any fighting at all. 2 has some, but then 3 is like basically just nonstop fighting. So it's like, I don't know. I think Ethan would like it, but it would also probably make him scared.
Okay.
Oh, so he didn't see. You went by, just you and your wife went. You didn't go.
We didn't go anywhere. We just watched it at home.
Oh, you watched on TV? There you-
Yes.
So
Thank
for
you.
your adult night, you decided to watch Sonic 3 without Ethan?
Yep.
Yeah. There you
Well,
go.
I mean, he's seen 1 and 2. We were like, can he handle 3? But
Oh, I see your
Because
screen.
he's-
Pre-screen.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Because he is still a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. But the movies are for older kids. And also, 3 leans pretty heavily into like, you have to kind of care about the whole lore of Sonic to
Mhm.
really care about the
Oh,
movie. I
yeah.
think.
Oh.
It's not like Mario where like anyone can enjoy it, really. It's kind of like its own self-contained thing. With Sonic 3, well, first off, you have to watch the first 2 movies. So you have to care enough about him to watch 3 full movies of him. And then it's also, there's a lot of references to the games and stuff that it's going to go right over most people's heads.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. Does he still get in the car and ask to go to Florida?
Yes, he does.
He still does that every day.
The other day, yep.
Just let's go to
It's
Florida.
been what, like 3 weeks at this point?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the kid's gonna want to move into a warm weather state when he's older.
Yeah.
That's how it started for me. The pipeline starts early.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, the first time I got out of Minnesota in the winter, I think I was 15. And I remember arriving and seeing the beach
Mhm.
and warm and swimsuits and suntan lotion. And I'm like, why do we
Yeah.
have to go back there?
Why do we live in this cold weather?
Why? Yes.
My whole family my whole family's in Florida, and then I'm out in California. Nobody wants snow,
No.
No.
ice. none.
Snow's nice.
Ugh.
It is great in California because I can get there in less than 90 minutes for snow. I need it.
Was that Great Bear or something? Isn't that the name of it?
Big Bear.
Mountain.
Big
or
Bear.
Big
Yeah,
Big
there
Bear.
you go.
Yeah.
That's one of those things about Minnesotans I don't get is going up north. It's like we're
Yes.
already up north.
It gets cold.
Why do you have to go even farther north? It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Because it's cooler in the summer.
In the summer, it's great.
In the summer,
That-
that's great.
That's true, I
Got a
suppose.
lot of bugs though.
But oh my
A lot
god,
of
so
bugs.
many. We go to Melissa's dad's cabin every so often. God, the amount of mosquitoes, it's insane.
Yeah,
mean,
you
I-
can't be out after
You need a
dusk. You can't.
shovel to get.
I'm one of those allergic to mosquito bites too, so they get like this
Ooh.
big.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
And we
Minnesota-
just started to get mosquitoes in California the last 2 or 3 years because it's gotten more humid with the weather changing.
Mhm.
It's not good.
They love that
Mm.
humidity. But tip, they don't like sunlight. So if you ever are being accosted by mosquitoes, get in the sun. They hate sun.
Really?
What do we do at night?
They're little
At
vampires.
night, you go
At
in
Yeah,
night,
there,
you
night's
just
the
don't go
problem.
out,
or
really.
you cover yourself in sticky, bad-smelling bug spray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
Mhm.
Kristen, I have to ask you a question because I do like John Hamm, but does his show get better?
You don't like your friends and neighbors?
It's boring as hell. It's just
I like it. I don't know.
I,
Hollywood
I think you
schmuck.
have a ham problem. I've really decided this after
Yeah.
Fargo, and
maybe it is a ham
Yes.
problem.
I
You're
think
right.
it's a ham problem.
I like him. I used to really like him a lot, and I don't mind him. And it's just I don't know. It just seems like this has already been done.
mean, he's not the world's greatest actor.
No, he's
No, I
not.
think he's very like he was outstanding as Don Draper, but that
He
is
was.
a role
Yes, he
of a
was.
lifetime.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And
doubt.
he is good in comedic roles. I think like Bridesmaids, he was fantastic in that.
Mhm.
But I think otherwise he's pretty John Hammie. Like he kind of is one note
Mhm.
beyond that. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe he has another really good role left in him, but I think Your Friends and Neighbors is good.
I do too. And Bondsman, we're really enjoying
Oh
Bondsman.
God, Bondsman's funny. Very
Kevin
funny.
Bacon's so good.
He's really, really good. Like I said, he and his wife Kira used to come on my show all
He's
the
got
time.
another new show coming too called Sirens on Netflix, and I think it comes out next month. So we'll talk about it once we get there too. But that's got
Called
a good
Sirens.
cast. Sirens, yes.
Okay.
It's a black comedy.
Now we're talking. Yeah, Catherine and I really, really like what's that? I can never remember the name of the show though.
Bondsman?
Bondsman. There you
Yeah.
go.
Bondsman, yeah.
It's a weird name for a show, Bondsman.
I think we were on episode 3. We watched that, and it was that one was a little boring, but not every single episode of every season is
right.
really great. But the first 2 were fantastic.
Yeah, sometimes an episode is like a setup for like the next one. So you have to kind of slug through like what's about to happen.
Yeah. And we're dropping out of the gemstones. We talked about that with Chris yesterday after you got off of the show. And I was just, the Righteous Gemstones this year is just too
falling off.
It's terrible.
Well, they're just being like wildly inappropriate. Which, I mean, it always was. That was the family was always wildly inappropriate, but this is now another level. This is
like
crazy
making it into a
town.
joke almost.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look what we can do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
what can
outrageous
we
to
get
be
away with?
outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's kind of gotten old already.
Ren and Stimpy style.
Yeah.
Get as gross as you can. See what happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Alex, with the, what happened in the parking lot there, dear?
Second time in a year that I've hit in a parking lot well in park.
Were you in the car?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was
somebody
within
hit you?
6 months.
Probably in 6 months. Well, I got the car in August, and yeah, it's within 6 months. Yeah.
Well, 8 months.
Any damage?
I got the first time it happened wasn't right after I got the car. It was in winter. So yes, it's within 6 months.
There you go.
Yes, they're not a ton. She's not going as the first time it happened. The woman was like whipped out of her parking spot and smashed right into me in her Tesla that should have like.
Oh, she didn't know how to drive it. Probably.
It probably did beep.
It probably did, or she probably turned all that stuff off.
Yeah, true. This woman, I was in a small parking lot of a bakery and I pulled in and was like, oh, there's no spots. And so I had to turn around. And then as I turned around, was about to drive forward, the car next to her car. So she was one car away from me. And then the car next, like 2 cars away from me, started to move out of their spot. And I was like, oh, I will pull out. I'll back out of the way and put my car in park. And then I'll wait for them to pull out of their spot. And then I will pull into their spot. And so I was looking down because I was in park and out of the way. And that person was getting out of their spot. And then all of a sudden, I just felt somebody run into me. And I got out of the car and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I'm like, I'm a
giant SUV.
Well,
no way I couldn't have gone anywhere. Like, even if I was looking up, like I couldn't have put my car in reverse to like get out of her way because there was a wall behind me.
So was she on her phone?
I don't know.
There you go.
I'm assuming so because she also had she was driving a Subaru Forester, which Subaru are the people that made up the like beep, beep, beep. There's a car there.
Yeah, the blind spot monitoring and all of that. Yeah,
it wasn't an old Forester either. So I was like, so I filed a claim through her insurance and I called my insurance and they're like, no, file it through hers because then you don't have to pay a deductible. And if she's the one responsible, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I was in park. So
you're like,
I'm responsible for anything.
I wasn't moving, so I'm gonna say it's on her.
I know, and she was like, "I need your phone number, and I need your," and I was like, "You don't need anything from me, lady. You hit me." I mean, I sent her a text message with my name, but I was like, "You don't need my insurance information."
Well, some car people in the chat might be able to correct me on this, but it might not be a bad idea to go to somewhere like a dealer, maybe, and get your car's what's the acronym, OSB data or whatever, like taken out, because
OSB.
it keeps track of like when your car is in park and when it's in drive and that sort of thing, what speed it was going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You might be able to prove that you were in park at the
I can
time.
download
Well,
the.
This happened to me again. I was in park and a woman hit me it was in December because it was right before the kids' Advent service for school. So it was in December when I was hit. And I was in park.
Yeah,
I was
come on
pulling out of a parking spot, and then I saw a woman. Oh, hi, Ralph. I saw a woman turn her car on and her backup lights turned on, and then I put my car in park and started beeping my horn because she started moving, and I was like, I was already, it was a whole thing. But when I talked to the insurance agent, he was like, oh yeah, this is completely her fault. Like, she's going to have to pay for every penny of this. Like, they didn't have to prove anything because I think that the woman she confirmed what I had said, you know? And this woman, she was an older woman. And she immediately was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. So I'm assuming that she's not going to cause a big stink and we're not going to need data to whatever. So
OBD is the terminology.
Onboard data.
Diagnostic.
Onboard diagnostic.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird, as always, has to bail on us. Typical. That's all I have to say.
Party animal.
Typical.
Party animal. I know. I
gonna-
did a Jello shot last night, so
God.
because isn't that funny? It was a green apple Jello shot, probably with vodka. I'm going to assume it was delicious.
These are making a comeback. Apparently,
They are.
We've never done
And
a Jello
they were
shot.
promoting Bachelor in Paradise, and so they're going to Costa
Oh.
Rica, so that's why they were passing out the shots. And I was not driving, since they offered me a complimentary Lyft ride back there and back, so I did a Jello shot.
You did the
Look at
one Jello
you,
shot.
wild girl.
Wild girl, that is like one. I probably won't have another Jello shot in my lifetime.
I don't think I've ever taken a Jello shot before.
It just kind of seems pointless. It's like, why make it taste better, but then suck it down as quickly as you can?
Yeah, I've been around Jello shots, but I don't think I've ever
You're
had
familiar
one.
with the
I
concept.
feel like
I did them in college for sure. But
Yeah.
you know, I didn't, they were in squares. So they weren't in like the usual, you know how they're in those little plastic cups normally in college. I bit into it, which I know is not what you're supposed to do, but I was like, I cannot do this all in one
slide
slurpy,
it down.
slidey. Yeah, I bit
it's
into it.
gross.
So
Doing a regular shot is hard enough.
No, I
for
don't
me.
do shots because I don't.
I
do the
sip a
whole-
regular shot too. It's
I do one shot a year of aquavit
Aquavit,
at
oh, well, yeah.
Christmas. Dance whole family, we do one all together, and every year it's just as
It burns.
Gross as it
burning
was before.
I'm the one that does the baby sips of the shot. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
nurse
But see,
this
for
for
me,
half an hour.
I used to do that, and then I was like, then you're just exposing yourself to, because aquavit is not the most pleasant thing to drink.
I don't think I've ever had it.
It's really strong, very strong.
It doesn't really bother me that much.
and it's not
you know,
like,
kerosene.
yeah,
Very
That's
similar.
it.
smooth. It's not pleasant, and so I used to do that with the aquavit shot because I think before, like my first Christmas with Dan, I don't think I had ever done a shot before.
Yeah.
And so I would sip it, and then I was like, I just keep exposing myself to this like intense.
Yeah, just get it over with.
So
I
it's like I'm
suppose,
just
yeah.
gonna gulp it down in one go and be done with it.
I sip it and then pass it to Bill. I'm like, you can finish this.
There you have
His
it.
mom always does like a quarter. She's like, I'll have a baby shot, a quarter
Yeah.
amount. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC equal housing lender. We will talk to you tomorrow.
See you all tomorrow. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Kristen Burt, ladies and gentlemen, take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. It's time for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. You like that. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team, always staffed within the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire of Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally, 2 generations, as I've told you many times before. I know them personally, and they are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser. Let me tell you about my bank. That would be North American Banking Company. When it comes to banking, it's all about trust, and that's what you get with them. They've been around since 1998, and they've always made it clear they're here to give you a better banking experience with a focus on the local community. And if you won't be dealing with someone like, you won't be dealing with someone like AI chatbot stuff, you know that. You'll get straight answers and quick decisions from real people that know you and your situation and are always ready to help. So, if you're tired of the big national banks and want something better, stop by and see my friends at North American Banking Company. Visit nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And the baby looks around him and shares his therapy.
This part of the show is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. A stranger has appeared among us, ladies and gentlemen. Ralph Basham comes in once a year now.
World traveler.
Mike is facing a very strange direction.
Yes.
There we go.
There we are.
What's up?
Better?
Can you not hear us?
I don't think those are on,
thing
or
on?
perhaps working. There we go. So much technology.
Gone for 2 years. I don't know how to run the place.
You have been gone for 2 years?
No. It seems like 2 years. It's been such a sad time, me not being here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no question. Yeah. But your life is going well. Everything's good. You're relocating and you're closer to family, so that's good.
Yeah, that'll be very nice. It'll be a nice change to head out to Vegas. Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby, Vegas. Now, did your kids go to college in Colorado and California? Is that what happened?
No, they went to school in California.
California, both of them. Okay.
USC, then UC Santa Barbara.
Oh, okay.
And after that, Ashley's in Denver. Josh is going to move back to Santa Monica. He's going to live in California, pay the high taxes. His work's there, so it's.
Well, where's he been living? I didn't even know he moved.
He's been bumming off the house in Las Vegas. He lived there for a while.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He lived there for a while. Gave him a chance to save some money for a condo, and whether he did or not, that's not my problem.
Well, I suppose that is right. You know what's really funny about that? Talking about Las Vegas, it now makes me sad because every time I think of Las Vegas, I think of Louis Anderson. Every time the name comes up.
Rest his soul. I know.
He was God. What a talent. No. What a talent that man was. So everything's good with you now? You're retired. You're folding up the tent.
Oh, yeah. I folded that tent up. It was the best thing I ever did. My brother-in-law said about 20 years ago when he retired, he says, it sure, he said, work sure gets in the way. It gets in the way of everything else.
Well, that's nice.
Gets in the way. So
I suppose.
Is healthy. I'm happy for that.
I suppose when you're in my business, and all you do is sit and talk for an hour or two or three a day, it's just not really working.
It's not like going up on the iron like you used to do. Not like being an iron worker.
No, it's not like that at all. There's no question about it. So sitting around, spending time with the family and all the rest of it too. Also joining us, Mark Wick. How you doing, Mark?
I'm well. Good morning. Thank you. Good afternoon. Whatever it is, I don't even know.
It is a morning, so it's 11:09.
All right.
So you're close enough. So where are we headed, Andrew? How do you want to coordinate this?
You mean coordinate?
Well, I just want to make sure that both guests get all their ideas out there and what's going on, and
Ralph's overstayed is welcome.
That's already. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the update.
There you go.
Sure you're getting right way to the door.
So Mark and Ralph. Mark, we should point out that Ralph just retired. He was a doctor, surgeon for how many years? About 75, 80 years?
40. Yeah, 40.
40 years.
40 years.
I did it 40 years. And that doesn't
Honest to
include
God.
residency. So you lay another 6 on that. So it's 46, almost 50 years.
Used to be my doctor for many, many, many years. And whenever I needed a tune-up or whatever, I went to see Ralph.
Tuna.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a good change.
Has it been?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I mean, at some point you need to,
Ooh, you're glowing.
Oh, you're glowing now.
Well,
What's
now
that
you can
all
see
about?
his face. He was a little.
Brighter
You
than the
can
sun.
see his soul.
He was dark.
You can
Bash
see
him there for a
You can
minute.
see my soul. That's right. You can see my soul.
Dark
Yeah,
passion.
that's a little bright. I think you can
You
turn
can
it
dim
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
working on
a million
There's
buttons. You'll
He's
figure out which one.
fine.
Oh dear. I
Oh,
never
no.
even use mine. Oh no. Now my whole thing is crooked.
Well,
and
Alex tipped
I-
everything
this
over.
thing, I'm taking the
Things going very
shot.
well, very smoothly. Ralph,
Yeah.
I will always think whenever I all those years we did the show, you were on this show for a long time, but I always think of our trips to Vegas. You were at every one of them, and boy, I will never forget that. That it was one of our first ones, I think. And we went into the auditorium, and there were 5,500 people there, and there were about another 1,000 that couldn't get in.
That's
I
right.
will never forget that.
Yeah, it was a big
like,
auditorium, full, packed, jam-packed, line outside. SRO.
It was just really weird that like 6,000, 6,500 people showed up for a show in Vegas. And it's like, my God.
Those are the days where I wouldn't go near the show.
Yes, you wouldn't go near the show back
Just
then.
stay home.
I do remember
You
that.
have fun.
But one thing is, as much drinking as there was, and as rowdy as the crowd could be, there was
Mhm.
never a problem,
Never.
never a real issue. People had been overserved, but there was no acting out. I mean,
No.
nobody being snots or anything like that. It was, it was a fascinating thing to see. I mean, that was many years.
Yep.
I haven't heard that term, snots, in a
No.
long
Snots.
time.
Yeah,
I like that
snots.
little snot.
That's the ticket there. So, Mark, what's going on in your world? What's up, Pally?
Well, just trying to get through the days. It's been kind of a wild career. I wish I was at the point of retirement. My wife retired at the beginning of the month, and or beginning of March, and I started a new career 2 years ago. So I'm not as smart as she was, or as Ralph here. So I'm a ways off. But
Yeah, me too. Although I got to be honest with you, Mark, Ralph, everybody, I am not the kind that could just sit around. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Ralph, just sitting around or whatever, but I could not do that. I've tried, even on weekends, I could sit and listen to my dog snore very loudly.
I'm hearing that.
He's sure sawing some
Every
logs
show,
down
he
there.
just falls asleep and snores like a mad.
He loves the podcast nap.
He does. He loves.
He lives for the podcast nap.
But yeah, I mean, well, Ralph, you'll stay busy, won't you?
Oh, sure. It was. I'll stay busy. There's 1,000 things to do. I'll continue with any kind of outside interest that I've had. But going back to doing something else, either for some sort of compensation. Understand, you do things for a variety of reasons, and money is not the only compensation you get from being busy or doing work and things like that. So there's volunteer work. I've toyed with 1,000 ideas, and I don't know. I might apply at the casinos for internet security, do things like that.
There you go.
Or I might go back to chemistry research at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas campus. I mean, there's just so many things. I mean, I can go to the medical school and volunteer and teach. I mean, there's 1,000 things you can end up doing with your time and everything. So we'll see. And
okay, well, very quickly, I want to mention that after about 6-7 years, I stopped playing golf. But it was about 6-7 years ago, right?
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
The station was sold to another company, and the very day they walked in front door, I went, "Oh God, this is not going to work." And so I kind of focused on doing the show and just moving forward. I could just tell I was not their kind of guy, and they were not my kind of guy, and it was eventually going to just all blow up. So I didn't play golf. The only reason I'm bringing this up is 7 years later, I start playing golf again. I shot the best round I've shot in 7 years yesterday, and Nana still had to beat me by 1 stroke.
I did. I won.
Good God, Mark. What am I supposed to do about that?
Hey, been there, done that.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish I had some advice for you on that one. But
Well,
But
if
you-
it's giving you a mental health crisis, why not listen to the What's the Point podcast coming back and do we know when it's actually going to start again?
you know what? We're hoping here, I believe, in the next month, but I can't speak for Mark and Bill. But we've got a bunch of guests lined up, and we're just kind of trying to. Mark was gone. I'm going to be gone here a little bit in May, but then after that, yeah, we want to get going. So
There you go. And I'll
Yeah,
be
we're
producing
excited.
that actually.
Oh, you're going to produce it?
Yep. I'm going to be the producer of the podcast.
Will they be analyzing you? I hope.
I hope, yeah. That'd be great.
Twice a month, I think.
Yep.
You know what's
No,
great
so
about that?
excited about it.
I always notice when I make a comment on X that you guys are very nice to me. So I wanted to thank you for that. You always say
Yeah.
nice things.
Mark and Bill run that, and they do a wonderful job at Face It. And it's been a great organization that I've been blessed to be a part of and volunteer at or whatever for since I moved to the cities here in 2018. So it's been great. And we started the podcast up, and then it took a break because it's, as Andy knows, it's a ton of work, and Mark and Bill have so many other things going on, but we have a great time doing it. And we're, there was a lot of interest in having us bring it back, and we're excited
Good.
to do it again.
I'm glad to hear that. So it's good work.
Appreciate that. Yep. No, and it's much needed work also.
I think that people don't really understand, because we were talking about that earlier about, people retiring and doing this and doing that. You can't really retire from doing a podcast or even doing a radio show all those years. You didn't retire from it. It's not really work anyway.
And I've told people that, pretty much my whole life that, I haven't had to go to work. I haven't worked a day in my life because I've loved what I've always done.
Right.
And that just makes it that rewarding. So, even though I joke that my wife just retired and I just started a new career, I love what I'm doing and I look forward to it every day. So, why not? And it still gives me flexibility to do a lot of things. So that's a great attitude to have. And I'm very lucky and blessed to be able to do that.
So we were just talking about it yesterday with a couple of different people that, Chris Eggert talked about the local news. The local news is not what it used to be. Local news was a huge deal, particularly in Minneapolis, because some of the greatest newscasters in the country went through the Twin Cities. There's no question about that. I mean, you had the Majors brothers, you had Don Shelby, you had Dave Moore, you have. Should I be nice to our buddy over there at Channel 4?
Frank
Vassalero.
Oh, he's been there
He's a wonderful
long
guy.
time.
He is, and he's a great
very
guy.
successful. Frank and Amelia.
So I mean, that is I suppose it's a bit unusual. I guess the best way to put it is Catherine and I moved to New York many, many years ago because I was just going to do voiceover in New York. And then we found out we're going to have a baby before Andy was born, and we can't raise a kid at 20th Street and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. That's not going to work. But the weird thing about that was, and I'll get off the subject after this, I promise, the local news in New York sucks compared to Minneapolis. It's not even close to as good. It's real hypey and, hey, let me ask you a question. They got the fake voices and all that. Minneapolis never went through that, I don't think. As far as news anchors were concerned, the women, the men, they all did a really, really great job. Pat Miles, I still love talking to Pat. She's just fantastic. And
did you ever watch Broadcast Wars?
Broadcast Wars, yes.
The show we were talking about yesterday on PBS?
No, Dad's been trying to log on PBS.
Oh, did I ever watch that new one? Okay, no.
It's been a process.
It's been a process, yes.
I mean, you can just watch it on your computer.
Well, the biggest problem is, for some reason, PBS, which is free to watch, is a bitch to connect with. Why? I don't. I mean, we spent like 2 days now trying to connect with it, and it keeps changing the password on us. It's like, what are you doing? But I do want to watch it. So what's it all about?
It's about the 1950s through 1990s Twin Cities news media.
I want to see that. I really do. And that's on PBS nationally?
Well, it's PBS Twin Cities. So, yeah, you might not be able to get it on your TV, like if you log into PBS, because you'll get PBS West Palm Beach. That's how it works.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But if you just Google it, you can find it on your computer.
Yeah, maybe that's what we should do. Just use this screen right here and watch it on here.
That's probably
Absolutely.
the easiest way to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, it could be, but I do definitely want to watch it because that's one of the lucky things in my life is, I jumped on the radio when I was, I think 17. I might have been 18 by then, but I think I was still 17, working at the Hubbard building back in the days when, Ron Majors was the chief anchor there and all the rest of it. And because I was in the business for so long, I've met every anchor that came through town, men, women, everybody, the weather people, all the rest of it. I hope that people in the Twin Cities do understand how lucky they are, how good the news is in that city. It's really good. Right?
It is.
It is.
Absolutely.
Charlie sent you a link on X yesterday. So.
Oh, Charlie did?
Look for it.
I will look for that. Absolutely. So, Mark, what's the latest? Everything else good?
All is good as we head into springtime here. Face It is, can I talk a little bit about Face It?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So for people that don't know, Face It's an organization that help men with mental health struggles, mental health challenges,
Okay.
and it's a totally volunteer organization. They support and sponsor everything. We have a big cleanup this weekend because they just opened up a retreat center up north by Sturgeon Lake, which has been awesome.
Sure.
Our groups go up there to get away, and it's all peer led. It's all just guys talking to guys about stuff that we go through, and it's been a pretty powerful group. And it's an exciting time with the new retreat center, and then also, like I said, bringing up the podcast. And the podcast, what we do on the podcast is just guys talking about stuff that we go through. It's not therapy sessions. It's not clinical. It's nothing that. It's just stories about the challenges and the things that we all go through. So excited to be getting back up with that because Mark, Bill, and I have a great time doing it also.
Is it a Minnesota organization?
It is Minnesota.
Okay.
There's the podcast has actually reached people all over the country, and there's been requests to expand. We Face It just opened up a group in Duluth, so they're up there now. Otherwise, most of the groups have been in the metro area. Northfield has had a group with one of the guys down there. They meet, the groups meet every other week for 2 hours, and it's just the guys getting together. But they haven't expanded into other states, and it's during COVID when everything went virtual and all of our meetings were virtual.
Right.
It gets some people from outside because it was much easier. But now, since we're mostly back in person, it is just Minnesota based.
Okay.
I got to ask you this because I know I bring it up to Catherine. She goes, "Oh God, settle down." Blah blah blah. In my generation now, it's a whole different deal. And I remember talking to the previous generation, the World War II, I guess, generation is the one you would call them. And they were
The greatest generation.
The greatest generation, yes. And, the hippies came along and they had a hard time adjusting to that and all the rest of it. I thought, oh, it's not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. Well, now I'm in that group, not the World War II part of it, but that age group. And I get very annoyed just walking down the street. It's just young people are always on their phones. They walk right at you. They will not get out of the way. They will not say, excuse me. They're very impolite. And I got to be honest with you, in my house, in my generation, my mother, if you were not polite, you heard about it. So is this just a personal thing or is it a generational thing?
Or is it a result of the parenting of the hippies?
Ooh.
Maybe
it's our fault.
Respect their elders. I don't think that's a thing anymore.
Yeah, well, it's all this all comes from something.
It does, yes.
And maybe it's a natural kind of progression of the society of manners. Maybe is going to come back because people don't like that sort of attitude. But it's not just young people who are on their phones.
No, not at all.
I mean, the phone itself has made people. It has given people a means of becoming self-centered.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it was very, very important when I went to school and at home and all the rest of it to be polite to people.
Yes.
Say, excuse me. Oh, pardon me. I got in your way. It's not going to happen anymore. You are not going to hear that anymore. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. That does
Thank you
not
very much.
happen anymore.
I have 2 children, and every time they're signed up for anything, the thing that I always hear is they were so polite.
Well, good. See, I'm
Oh,
glad to hear
There
that.
you go.
It's because of their grandfather. That's
That's
why.
it. That's it. Must be it.
You're not a hippie.
No, I kind of was hippie like when I was about 17, I suppose. But no, is it just a thing, Mark, where generation to generation, we're going to be different and we're not going to blend in? I mean, we get along fine, but we're not going to be 100% accepting.
I think that there's there's so many things that come in. I agree with all those things that have been said about the cell phones and that type of stuff, the instant connection. I always say that cell phones are like a 365-day Christmas card now. Everybody's all the great things out there that are going on in their life, and then there's all this comparison. But I also think that it's great to hear that Alex, that your kids are polite.
They are, yeah.
And and I hope for my grandkids the same thing. And I think my kids are, and my kids' friends still call me Mr. Wick. Which we did all the time, and now a lot of people don't do that anymore. So I think it's still out there. I think that it's easy to see the I think the rudeness is more apparent because we are used to the other side and that they don't know better. So I think it's a whole combination. I think one of the things that I always stress now is kids are different, and I think that not to say good or bad.
Right.
Hopefully we can be a little different too. I think one of the things that I wish I would have done both as a parent and in my career and those types of things is ask why more often. Right. And one of the things that, teachers hate, coaches, I was a coach for 35 years, that, we never asked our teachers or coaches, why are we doing this? Right.
Oh, God. No.
Or your parents.
That
but if we asked the kids more, hey, why? Why don't you say, excuse me, why are you acting that way? And be more curious about that and have more conversations and stuff like that. I think we would be better off. Our generation, because, I appreciate because I grew up with, I was listening the other day with Guido Sarducci.
Oh my God.
And I hadn't thought about that for 40 years.
True. It's true.
But, how can we be different, and how can we, just understand each other better? And I think that goes through the communication, and with the cell phones and all that, it's become tougher and tougher to communicate because
I think it's true. Yeah.
Like you said on the podcast too, like when you communicate through X or through emails or texts, like you don't know tone, you don't know intent.
Right.
And it's really tough to communicate, and, kids don't know how to communicate as well. And I think we can do a better job communicating with them. I was really good at disciplining or hollering at instead of trying out the stand. So, and that didn't work out that well.
I understand what Ralph and Alex, what Mark's talking about is the Pope died, obviously, and I grew up Roman Catholic. The Pope was very, very important in my house and all the rest of it. But the problem I have when I hear the word Pope, I think of Don Novello, who created a character called Father Guido Sarducci, Find to the Pope into the pizza. You remember that bit on Saturday Night Live? It was brilliant. But I mean, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but every time, oh, you hear the Pope died? Oh, find the Pope into the pizza.
Wasn't he always smoking a cigarette too?
Yes, he was always smoking a cigarette too.
Traditionally dressed. That was a great character.
Yeah,
God, it was a great character. No question. We'll take a quick break. Be right back. More with Mark and Ralph and Andy and Catherine and Alex and some other hunyuck. Be right back. You're listening to me. Your customers are listening to me, and they'll hear me promote your business. You can reach an engaged audience. That's a very important thing. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support businesses they trust. Trust is a very, very important thing. No question about that. Our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, brand recognition. We're not just about ads. We are about results, because I'm not going to promote a product that I'm not going to use. It's just not, that doesn't happen. That's a fact. Whether you're a local business or a national brand, we offer custom advertising packages designed to fit your unique needs and goals. Our audience spans multiple demographics. That's very important as well. allowing you to target your ideal customers with precision, from millennials to baby boomers and everyone in between. So here's the deal. With the broad reach we have and a passionate following, your business will see increased visibility and awareness, translating into more customers, more sales. You know what I'm talking about. Visit tombarnardshow.com, click on the partner tab, and let's discuss how we can get together, and grow your business.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
South Dakota is one of the most business-friendly states in the country, and there's no better place to settle down and take advantage of those incentives. And in Sioux Falls, as the state's largest city with a metro population over 290,000, Sioux Falls has low business costs, a high quality of life, very, very important. There's no state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, and no limits to what your business can achieve. Sioux Falls, South Dakota was recently ranked number one best small city for business and careers by Forbes, the number 2 best state business tax by business tax climate, by the Tax Foundation, and the number 5 top state for e-commerce and Nexus. As one of the Midwest's fastest growing cities, Sioux Falls has a robust growing job market. No matter where you're at in your career, you have an opportunity waiting for you. Our city's tax-friendly climate and strong workforce don't go unrecognized. Forbes named Sioux Falls one of the top small cities for business and careers each of the last 15 years. In 2020, Sioux Falls also ranked as the number 4 best city for young professionals. How does South Dakota stack up against other states? Well, they rank second in the nation for the lowest cost of doing business, the most business-friendly state, and the best business tax climate. And as South Dakota's biggest city, Sioux Falls is at the center of these benefits. Now is the perfect time to make your move to Sioux Falls. Visit SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. Ooh, we're rocking out, man. This part of the show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-5608. Well, Alex had to leave.
Yes. Out of here.
What a piece of work then.
I think she should put some of those whirly gigs on the sides of her cars. Front, sides, top, so people see her.
Probably not a bad idea. No question about
Poor
it.
thing.
So what else happened? Ralph, now you're going to be moving out of state, or have you already moved out of state?
Well, we've kind of already moved out of state. We've gone through, I've read the statutes in the state, and the two things, here's the domicile and the residency. And the residency is the cornerstone of that is being in the other place 6 months and a day.
183 days to be precise.
Yeah, that's 183 but the other part is the domicile, which is just as important or more important. And that has to do with joining things, being involved with things, changing your mailing address, bank accounts, licensing your cars, getting your drivers. I mean, all those things are this effort. And in Nevada, and they don't play around with registering cars. They have multiple steps you have to go through.
Oh, really?
Paperwork. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did that down here. Yeah, it's a lot.
You have to go to the DMV to verify your VIN number.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I actually just stopped at the police station and had them do it.
Oh, okay.
Because they'll do it down here. I don't know if they'll do it everywhere, but because if you wait till you get to the DMV, it can take a really long time for someone to be available to go out and look at your car.
Yeah. Well,
so just a little tip.
Yeah, we went through the DMV and they just had this place you drove through, and it took a second.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? That's nice.
It was a segregated area for this sort of thing.
Nice.
because they do so many of them. Yeah,
Oh,
then
I suppose that's true.
you have to have insurance in the state of Nevada.
Yep.
Car insurance in the state of all those little hoops that you have to go through where you don't really notice that sort of thing. That goes on in the background when you buy a car in a state.
Do yourself a favor, because Catherine and I just went through this. If you're going to get your license changed or your plates or register your cars or do whatever, don't do it in the center of the city. Go to an outlying area.
Go to the suburbs.
Oh my God. It took the first time was 6 hours or something?
It was like those old jokes about the social security office down in downtown Minneapolis, where people are laying on the floor sleeping. There's families that have a picnic because they've been there for so many hours. The downtown West Palm Beach DMV is a nightmare. It needs to just be closed down in a new building. It's awful. But the suburbs have great big beautiful places. We walk in, they see, oh, do you have your appointment? Yes, I do. They look me up, boop, 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 send us in. Within 5 seconds, we were called to a window.
They were walked us to the window.
The guy was great. It was like, why is it such a nightmare 20 minutes away? And this is it was a great experience up in the PGA Boulevard one.
All right. We have Josh on the phone.
Josh Arnold's on the horn. Did you call in to talk about registering your vehicle or about not getting enough sleep or not adjusting well to the upcoming generation?
Men's mental health issues.
What is it all about, Josh?
So many topics.
Okay, well, I don't have any mental health issues. Although my kids
that you admit to.
I do. And I did have a great time with my kids in New York over the weekend.
Oh.
Celebrating my grandson's first birthday.
Oh.
And New York City, at least near where my daughter lives in her neighborhood. Hoppin' Place.
So this is in Manhattan, you said?
Excuse me?
You were in Manhattan?
I was in Manhattan.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We were over by, I'll say between 6th and 7th Avenue, close to West Houston.
Oh,
sure, yeah.
Down to, we headed one night to dinner in Little Italy. And the next night we went to very old school Chinese restaurant called the Golden Unicorn, which I am told is one of the places in Chinatown that you've got to go to.
Now, when you're down on Houston, you run into Robert De Niro because that's where he lives.
No, did not run into Robert De Niro, although I think for brunch one day, son number 2 and his fiance, my granddaughter and his fiance's daughter went to Robert De Niro's restaurant, which is one of Judd's favorite places when he's in New York for brunch.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
I went there for dinner with he and my daughter and my significant other on one of our trips to New York. And that's a place I'd like to go again. Prices were high.
Mm-hmm.
Portions were small.
Sounds like New York.
I got it. I loved it.
Everything like that.
New York. You go to Little Italy and you want a side of pasta and it's like Jews talking about it's like Jews talking about a piece of cake. That's a cookie. That's not a cake.
We should point out that Josh is a nice Jewish boy, so don't get upset.
Italy, you want a side of pasta. You get a side of pasta. It's enough to feed a family.
Yep.
So I just wanted a little side of pasta to go with my eggplant parmesan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's your side of pasta. Okay, thank you very much. Food is great in New York.
It is.
And other than the price of housing and taxes, everything else is
Everything's
very
great.
reasonable.
It
Very,
is.
very, very, very reasonable.
Except I'm
And of
still
course,
upset
I
with
don't
them. They
have to
closed.
worry about going to the DMV
Right?
for anything. But I did see a notice that if you are traveling or getting on an airplane after May 7th, you're going to need real ID or a passport.
Yep.
Ooh.
Now, I do have an issue with getting real ID because time that I went, it was, oh, you don't have enough identification. What do you mean I don't have enough identification? Here's my driver's license. Here's my Social Security card. Here's my Medicare statement. Here's my Social Security statement. And here's my passport. What else do I need? Well, you don't have a W-2 form.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You don't have proof of residency from your utility bill.
Yep.
Oh, so let's see. I have my driver's license. That has my picture on it.
Right.
I have my Social Security card. I have my Medicare card. I have my my passport. That has my picture on it as well. I have a check here. That has my address. And you're telling me that I need to get more stuff? I'm self-employed. We don't care, sir.
Yeah, you need a W-9. Mm-hmm.
How about bring in? I don't have a W-9.
They want
Should
one.
I bring in my my tax forms? And the woman behind the counter walked away, and that was it. It's like, why are you making this so difficult? It's so difficult.
What I don't understand.
If I was to go to vote, I don't need anything to go to vote.
I know.
People are all upset that you need a picture ID to go to vote. And here it is. I want to get a real ID where I've already had a driver's license with my address and my picture. Here's my Social Security card, which is kind of old and frayed. Here is my passport, which has my picture and Social Security number on it. Do I look like what is in my Social Security, my driver's license, which you issued me, and my passport, which the U.S. government issued me?
That's what I don't understand.
All that stuff to get a passport.
Yeah, when you have a passport, I don't understand why that doesn't translate basically into real ID. I mean, you're already vetted from the feds.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course, but that's another story. But that's not why you asked me to talk to you and vent a little bit. I can vent about stuff like tariffs.
Yes, absolutely.
I can vent about the fact that all this nonsense about the tariffs and the idea to bring more manufacturing in the United States or more manufacturing back to the United States has been tried several different times over the past 50 years, and it has not worked. And that includes during the first Trump administration, during the Biden administration, and to bring back manufacturing takes a lot. And I think some people in the administration think, oh, we just snap our fingers and up goes a brand new manufacturing plant, and workers are already hired. But I guess nobody bothered to tell Peter Navarro that in order to build that manufacturing plant, you first have to get the land, then you have to get the approval to build the land, then you have to do an environmental impact study, then you have to, and that's before you even get to talking to the city council, the metropolitan council, or any county council. Then you have to arrange, if you pass all those things, then you have to do the soil test to make sure that there's no snail darters somewhere here.
Yep.
Then you better make sure that you're close to some type of power generation hookup. And if you're not near one, you're going to have to create one, which creates some other issues. Not to mention you have to be near either a rail crossing or some type of highway to be able to move your goods that are manufactured in that plant. Then you have to get the general contractor, who's going to get the subcontractors. Then you have to go out and get all your equipment. And guess what? A lot of your equipment is going to be tariffed because it's not necessarily made in the United States.
Oh,
Then you have to get all that up, which could take 2 to 4 years. And in the meantime, you're now going to try to find some employees. And guess what? After all that period of time, maybe the product that you're going to manufacture, somebody else has found a place to manufacture a similar product at less cost, even with all the tariffs.
God. Sounds like the world's really treating you well, Josh. I'm glad to hear it.
Well, stock market's
The
up
world
today.
is treating me very well. I'm happy to be here. It's just, and I've been very, very blessed. It's just I do not understand some of the, I'll say some of the politicians who have worked primarily in academia, maybe have written a few books, but have never started a manufacturing plant, started any type of business, hired people, had to deal with all the regulators, thinking that something like that is going to pop up overnight.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Not happening. Now, meantime, the biggest thing that has hit the market was, I'll say, over the last couple of days has been the president backing off, or we'll say backpedaling on his
Pivoting, thank
statement
you.
that he was ready to get rid of and wanted to fire Fed Chief Jay Powell, calling him all kinds of names, from the easy one, too late, to a few other words that are not suitable for public consumption. And the market responded with a very big raspberry on Monday.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Bond market, which sold off significantly. So bond prices go down, yields go up, and the stock market followed suit. And this included warnings from other economists, Fed officials, the European Central Bank, and other central banks, saying that if you go to fire Jay Powell, not only is it against the law, but you're going to destabilize the markets more than you like. Not to mention, of course, Jay Powell could fight him in court, as his term does not end as Fed chief till 2026. And guess what? He'd still be a voting member, one of 12, on the open market committee that sets interest rates. And he's on that committee until 2028. Good luck on that. Thank you very much for backing off on that. And then Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury, came out and said, well, looks like the trade situation between China and the U.S. is unsustainable. So looks like tariffs are going to back off there. Both were taken as very positive news by the market.
Good.
So now we're in the middle of earnings, and companies are going to be issuing some earnings warnings related to the costs or potential costs of the tariffs go through, including, we'll say, local 3M, which says they'll take about a $900 million hit on tariffs. General Electric Aerospace said they'll take a $500 million hit on the tariffs, and that will result in $500 million worth of cost cutting. So what does cost cutting mean to you? Job loss.
Yeah, employees. That's exactly what's going to go.
Employees are going out the door.
Yep.
And if you're wanting to bring manufacturing back to the United States, and General Electric Aerospace has told the president, hey, we have a trade surplus in jet engines with the rest of the world. And if we have to take this hit, there's your attempt to bring manufacturing back and bring more jobs ain't going to work with us. And I think that's true of a lot of manufacturing companies.
Well, I'm glad you called in to cheer us up today. I'm really happy about that.
Well, here, I'll give you some words of cheer. A lot of short covering in the last couple of days have boosted the market. I'll say boosted stocks back. And I would say for those individuals who panic sold on Monday or have been selling in the past, now you've got to make a decision. Do you get back in, or do you stay in the safety of low yielding assets and miss what may be, in all likelihood, will be a continued volatile time, but you're going to miss an awful lot of upside. And that's why I've told clients and myself, keep up to 30% in cash, the balance invested in high quality companies, and you'll be able to weather the storm.
Very nice of you to call in, sir. Looking forward to you. We'll meet up in Minneapolis one of these days and have dinner. It'd be wonderful.
I'd love that. We'll say hi to Sammy.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll say hello to Sammy.
Sammy's Romanian.
Yeah, it'd be wonderful. All right, thanks, pal.
Okay. See ya.
Nice talking to you. We'll be right back. Close things out right after this. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach your finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer either, or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice, and I am a paid endorser.
Maybe you could reconsider all the love you missed since I've been gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Mark and Ralph in studio, closing the show out here. Any closing comments we should know about anything happening in the world?
There's no good red sauce place in Minneapolis or in the Twin Cities. Red sauce place like Angelo's in New York or that sort of stuff. You think?
What about Buca?
Buca de Beppo.
We were talking about that a few days ago.
Yeah. We're talking about Buca de Beppo. Yeah, Big Paulie back in the day when Big Paulie was running the show.
Wow. Yeah, Buca de Beppo, but that's a national.
Yeah,
where's Buca de Beppo? Where is it?
There's one in Maple Grove that I know of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me see if it's actually still
Is the
there.
one downtown still there?
Good question.
There are.
I know there's one in Highland Park right now.
Oh, there is? Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, 3 Maple Grove downtown, and then one down in wherever the hell this is, Mendota.
Mendota.
There's one in,
kind of like Highland Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful area. I love that area, as a matter of fact. No question. So you can get some red sauce, Ralph. You'll be fine.
We get red sauce.
Here's your red sauce.
Although you're moving, so you won't be able to get red sauce, but you can get great red sauce. You can go to Rayo's in what?
Yeah, you can get a lot of good Italian food in Vegas.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, we won't be
I
missing.
wonder why that is. Why would that be? that there were
because of the Rat Pack.
Yeah, maybe. Any closing words, Mark?
Maybe you all know this. I'll give my DMV tip that I just found out for getting your tabs.
Okay.
You can get those at Cub Foods.
Really?
You just walk up to a kiosk, you type in your license plate, your VIN number, your credit card, and it spits out your tabs. And I did it in 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, they've got that down here in Florida. But our problem was we had an unpaid toll that we didn't even know about.
Right.
So then you're sitting there, you're trying to get it in the machine, and it just doesn't know who you are. So if you have any sort of violation, even known or unknown,
did you actually have a toll though, or was that a scam?
Yeah, we actually had a toll violation,
but we didn't know it.
We had no idea because we had a Sun Pass. We've always had a Sun Pass, so we're like, what's this? But there's a few toll roads that don't go on the Sun Pass, which we didn't know. So, and I was trying to, when you're taking your car from out of state and putting it under another state, it's a huge process.
Right.
Huge process.
Yeah, I don't think you can do those at a kiosk.
No, but now that we're all straightened away,
life is good.
There you go.
And we won't throw away toll tickets anymore, thinking that they're junk mail.
Well, Mark, Ralphie, thanks a lot for coming in. Ralph, when you headed back to Vegas?
Back to Vegas mid-May.
Mid-May. Okay, so
mid-May back to the city of not City of Lights. What is it? Sin City. No, that's New York.
City of Sin.
City of Sin.
Turn a blind eye to that if you're going to.
All right. Well, about a week or let's say a week from tomorrow, a week from Friday, whatever. Maybe we can get together and have a little dinner before you head out. That'd be great. And Mark, again, when is everything going to kick into high gear?
Hopefully, we'll be releasing some here early June. So,
and where can people find older episodes?
Those are on Spreaker. If you just Google "What's the Point" podcast, it will take you to. Let me see. It'll take you to the Face It Foundation site.
Yep,
and you can find them from there. But yeah, it's on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. It's all over the place. So it's very easy to find. Just Google "What's the Point" podcast. You'll get it.
And that's why we appreciate Andy.
Yes.
Oh, Andy's really good at that job, no question. But as I said, Mark, I appreciate all the support I get from you guys on social media too. It's very nice of you. Thank you.
No, we appreciate you.
All right, that's going to do it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Andy, stay on for a minute after everyone's gone.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
What'd you say?
Bye.
Every time I hear the same reminds me how you talking.